So a God of War Metroidvania style game. So people who don't know that what that kind of game is, think of Metroid. You know how that game is. It's one big area. So you have all these tunnels or not really levels, but it's all connected. Think of like Metroid or Castlevania or Hollow Knight, where there's nothing really restricting you from going anywhere except for like, oh, you want to access this area, you just got to come back with the right move. Where you might have to do a double jump to, because there might be a ledge right there, and you could get there and it leads to another part of the map, but you need to get a specific skill or item before you can get there. Um, Very free for the most part. Like I said, think of like Hollow Knight or Metroid, which it's based on. Um, it's really, really fun. For the most part, there's no loading screens or anything. Uh, and really, the only thing holding you back is, you know, whether or not you've memorized and gotten used to the layout. Like when I played Hollow Knight, it was very confusing because some of the areas would look the same. Sometimes you'd miss a path, even though it's like right there, the way the background or the foreground is. Um, but it's like, yeah, you find a door, and it's like, oh, you can't open this door yet until you find the key. But sometimes you go through the doors, or you find, you're on one side of the map, and it could be just something simple as a teleport back to the other side, so you don't have to, go through the whole freaking thing again. It's just like, oh, go from here to there. But a God of War game in that style, didn't they do this with that last Prince of Persia game? It was like one area. A new rumor alleges that PlayStation is developing a new God of War game in the style of a Metroidvania. The latest rumor comes from Scooper Chapal Nick via Mystic something. This sod with whatever. He posted a chat between him and Nick where Nick revealed that PlayStation is developing a Greek mythology God of War Metroidvania, but you play as Deimos. Interesting. I mean, that would certainly be weird, considering every God of War you've played as Kratos. So playing as Deimos. God. I had to pause there for a second. My freaking eyes itchy as hell. Um, yeah, that would. So you're already taking a character like Deimos, who's Kratos. I mean, it's still he's related to Kratos. It's Kratos' brother. So you're taking Deimos and putting him as, I guess, the main character in the game, and putting him into a style of God of War that people aren't used to. Sure. Um, I guess if they do it right, it could work. I mean, God of War, like Kratos is the God of War, so having but then again, I mean, the Legend of Zelda, and yet you play as Link, so you know. But I mean, Deimos is cool, being the brother of uh Kratos, son of Zeus and Callisto. So I mean, and he looks really cool. Hang on, let me pull what he looks up. What he looks like up. All right, here's Deimos. As you can see, he looks really cool. You can tell that him and Kratos are related. Um, but this is Deimos. So being able to play as this guy, I mean, yeah, that'd be cool. Um, this chat was shared in reaction to Reset Era. User, this is your fan. Claiming that Sony's Santa Monica is developing a game that is basically God of War and X Blasphemous, and that it is set in Greece before Kratos becomes a god. Finally, share that Deimos will return. Scoopers Tom Henderson and Jeff Grubb both speculated that the game might be announced during the upcoming PlayStation State of Play presentation, that will happen later today, which is, when was this? What time was this written? Oh, it just says June 4th. It doesn't say what time. Um, Henderson wrote, hearing a lot of scuttlebutt about 2.5D Metroidvania game, or whatever it will be. Yeah, seems to be much smaller in scale than what I initially thought. Um, no comments. Yeah, again, I mean, I really like his design. Um, and people were like, wait, Zeus, Kratos has a brother. Yeah. I mean, come on. It's freaking Zeus. It's Zeus. If you know about Zeus, it's not the Disney Zeus where he's like this wonderful father who's like, oh, my little Hercules, and oh, where's my son? And a very kind and loving man. No, Zeus was a man whore. Zeus was a man whore. This dude who would disguise himself as animals and go into people's women's rooms. He would as gold dust and make his way through openings and doors because he had a raging hard on. So in ancient Greece, which I mean, if you were the son or daughter of Zeus, you were untouchable. No one wanted to mess with you if you were the son or daughter of the leader of the Greek pantheon. Actually, any of the big three. So Zeus, Poseidon, Hades. If they found out you were the son or daughter of them, you were untouchable because they did not want to incur the wrath of any of them. Especially one of them, especially Poseidon, because back then with ancient Greece, a lot of sailors, a lot of boats going out on the water for fishing and all that. You did not want to incur the wrath of Poseidon because he will sink your fucking ship and then you'll be devoured by every manner of creature around. But yeah, if you were, especially Zeus, he was the king of the pantheon. He was the leader. So, but yeah, Zeus, he's not the way Disney portrayed him. He was a man whore, huge man whore. Um, but I do love the color scheme, this dark red and gold, like compared to his brother. Completely kind of different scheme of skin and armor and but if this was before Kratos became God of War, I guess it would make more sense. Ares. But yeah, I mean, Deimos was in like one game. So to see him in a style of like Metroidvania where you have just one big map. Again, there's like hardly any loading zones or anything. You're just going from place to place. Certain skills need, like I said, there could be a ledge and you jump and you're just barely making it. And you realize, oh, there must be some kind of special skill I need to use to, like a double jump or a flying up and then whatever. And, so you go back, and it's all the way on this side, and then you're traveling on this side, and you find that you get the wings or something like that, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, wasn't there a ledge that I couldn't get up on before? Well, there you go. You go back and you fly up, and it leads you to a brand new area of the map. And it's really fun. Like I said, Metroid, that's how the first Metroid was. Super Metroid. Then you have games like Castlevania. Those ones, like those are big on that style. Hollow Knight, same thing. So it's really a fun style of gameplay because it's a maze, and you kind of have to remember where everything is because it's not never really just a small map. They are very large maps. And because they're so simplistic for the most part, you can fit a lot of areas in the game because they're usually just these very small areas that are just connected. So not a lot of assets or memory being used. So you can create this huge experience. Maybe couple, like 40, 50, maybe up to 100 hours of gameplay, because you're just wandering through this massive freaking maze. And I say it's a maze, it's not really a maze. It's not designed to be a maze, but because there's so many interconnecting paths and one way of getting from one side to another, and places, a lot of problem solving, which you also have like a lot of puzzles that you need to solve. Like, oh yeah, hit things in a certain way or whatever the case is. But to see an ancient Greece version of that with Deimos as the main character instead of Kratos, if they did it right, I mean, they would have to really do their homework. Go back and look at what made Metroid and Castlevania and all those other games great, and then implement it. So they just really need to do their homework and study, and look at all the things that make them great, because making a style of that game, making a like a Metroid or Castlevania, like making that is one thing. Doing it successfully to where people aren't like, ugh. You want people to explore. You want them to have fun. So making it is one thing. Doing it correctly is another. So if they do make a God of War style or a God of War game in that style, they need to do it right. And they definitely need, just like, because obviously they did in the game, but they need to continue to make sure that Deimos is not the same as Kratos. They're brothers, yes, but they're different. Skill sets need to be different. Personality needs to be different. He needs to remain as his own separate character and not just make him a Kratos villain. So, two things to make it successful, because it's like, if they're gonna make the character like Kratos, why not just add Kratos instead? And if you're gonna make the game in that style of, just interconnected areas, you need to make sure it's done right. You don't want anything too cryptic, but you don't want it too easy to where it's obvious like what you have to do, because gamers aren't stupid. We're capable of solving some of the most complex puzzles in games. I mean, look at World of Warcraft and all the freaking cryptic bullshit that Blizzard adds in, and somehow it's like, oh yeah, we figured this out, and gives you a new mount. Like traveling through zones, and they find like the tiniest little fucking pebble. They click on that shit, and suddenly you're going around the world, doing all this random shit, and then you get a mount at the end. So gamers aren't stupid. They can figure this crap out. So you don't want it too easy. You don't want it too hard. You want to make the areas feel like a flow naturally. You don't want to, be on one screen and have like, ruins or something, and then suddenly the next screen is like fucking mountainous area. No, it needs to work up to that. Like, the higher you go, obviously, the higher you go is going to be the mountain area. Make it make sense. Make it challenging, but not too challenging to where people are like, ugh, great, we got these challenges, and I have to work through this fucking maze. Make Deimos different than Kratos. There you go. The money will print itself. And hopefully, if they see success, they'll be more confident and make more games in that style. Because it'll definitely be a nice little, step away from, it's kind of like with Mario games or whatever, how, you have like specific Mario games, but then Mario also with like different styles, like the Superstar Sagas or the Paper Marios, and, just different ideas or different ways of playing the game and stuff like that. So maybe they could do something like that with God of War, because I think it would fit well. Like I said, they did with Prince of Persia, that last Prince of Persia game that came out. It just didn't do very well. But it could do extremely well if they do it right. But we'll see. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.